All right, 7th grade. Today what we're going to do is 829. We're going to work on integers, and I'm going to show you a strategy of Scoreboard that we use when we add and subtract rational numbers. You notice I didn't say integers. Because Scoreboard can actually be used, remember we can have negative decimals, we can have negative fractions, but we still work it the same way. And so I am on page, I'm actually going to skip, actually no, I'm going to do it on page 8. I'm going to put it right here, okay? Let's turn to that page. And we are going to do Scoreboard. You can decorate it. Remember the interactive notebook? When you have lots of color, it is awesome. Works both sides of your brain for retention, okay? So a scoreboard, we know, in sports, we want to know who wins. When we are working with rational numbers and dealing with negatives and positives, it's almost like, a competition between the two. We want to look at the absolute value from 0. And so what is the absolute value? It's the distance. So we're basically kind of looking at how many negatives we have, how many positives, and find out who wins. So let's look at the following. We're going to draw a number line. Remember, you can always stop the video, okay, if you take a little bit longer. And I'm going to go ahead and make a number line of 3 on each side and -3. Okay, now if I said, let's do a problem of -2 plus 2 minus 1, and what does that equal? So first I always start at 0, or obviously you can start with a -2, but I want to visually show that. So if I start at 0, I'm going to subtract 2, right, and I stop. I'm going to add 2 back, so now I'm back to 0, and then I am going to subtract 1. And my answer is -1. Ms. Kowalski, always box your answers. Is there another way to do it? Absolutely. So Scoreboard, there's a couple of strategies. Some of the students, I know I was working with Ava and another student and showing them, and they're like, oh, well, that makes sense. So, number 1, let's say we have the problem -3 plus 1 minus a -2. What does that equal? So step 1 is you are going to box from the back. So what does that mean? When you are at the back of the number, let me use a different color. You start, you're going to go all the way to the next number. Okay? Include all the signs to the left of those numbers. I'm going to box another one all the way to the back of the 3 and all the way up here. Okay? Step 2, you're going to say the sign. Remember that when you are subtracting a number, you are actually adding the opposite. Extremely important. So what is the sign of this 2? Yeah, it's a positive value. What about 1? It is positive. What about the negative? Obviously, it's going to be a negative, okay? So step 3, we are going to place in Scoreboard. Sorry. Okay, what does that mean? So Scoreboard, there you go. I probably didn't need to make it that big. You have negatives and positives. I'm not going to put any negatives in my scoreboard because remember we're looking at the absolute value. We're looking at what the distance actually from 0. So we're not going to use the negatives right now. So let's put a 2 as a positive value, the 1 is a positive value, and the 3 is a negative value. Okay? Step 4. We're going to add columns if we have them. A column meaning more than one number in the column. So what this means is I need to kind of like a football game, you know, maybe you have 5 people that score a touchdown. I'm mixing up my words. That score a touchdown. You're going to add all those touchdowns together. Okay, so 2 and 1, touchdown. What am I saying? Anyway, all right, so 2 plus 1 is 3. And so what is going to be your answer? You're going to, step 5, you're going to say, who wins? And by how many? You subtract the winner from the loser from the winner. Okay, so here it's not really a good example because it was a tie, wasn't it? And we say 3 minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay? And 6, and I'm going to show you another example in a second. The winner gets the sign. Okay, so let's do a couple of these. All right, example. Let's do 6 minus 5 minus, and if you remember in the homework that you had parentheses. And we always say that parentheses might be multiplication. We're still subtracting a -1 here because I don't have a number there. Actually, well, we're not going to go that far. So what is the first step? Box from the back. Okay, we include all of the signs from a number to a number, all the way to the back of that, to the right of that number. Okay. Step 2, we're going to say the sign. That's right, when you're subtracting a number, it is adding the opposite. So it's a positive, you have a negative, and a positive. Let's do the scoreboard. So the negatives and the positives. The 1 is a positive, the 5 is a negative, and the 6 is a positive. Step 4, we have a column. We need to add that column. Who wins? We look at the 5 and the 7. The positive wins. Okay, by how many? Step 5. We're going to take the winner and subtract the loser. And the winner gets the sign. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is do this problem by yourself. Freeze, okay, stop it, just so you can do it by yourself. So -3, you have subtract, I'm going to do a long one, plus 4, and then -3. Okay? Go ahead and stop it and try and do it by yourself. Because I'm going to keep on going. This is going to be a negative. You have a positive. Adding the opposite, so it's actually positive, and a negative. So 3 is a negative. 4, 1, 3. 4 plus 1 is 5. 6. Who wins? The negatives. 6 minus 5 equals 1, but my winner gets the sign. Okay? Good job, everybody. All right. Well, we are going to actually, so you had some homework last night, and we will go over that tomorrow. So today what I gave you is a sheet of about 10 word problems. And so what I want to do is model a couple of these questions. And so I want each one of these cut out, okay? And then we're going to work through those together. So what we will do is on the back of the next page, we're going to cut these out. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work through them. You'll cut them out, and then I want you to glue each one in your journal, okay? Remember, a little bit goes a long way. And I am fighting because I need to do this in about 4 minutes. Actually, what I'm going to do is look on Schoology, and I'm going to go through these on directly from Schoology with the link. All right?